Now, another question which was posed to these executives, look at the warrant, and this is what has been happening in our part of the world. We don't do our homework. Look at the time we spend on even researching our supplies. I believe we should be doing more. Look at the numbers. We don't do our homework. And if we don't do your homework, how are you expected to negotiate? We don't even do our homework among ourselves, let alone with an outside partner. We go into negotiation, then we start disagreeing, and then we call time out. Let's go and agree before we come back to the party. I've been in discussions where the team, because it was put together within 48 hours, we started arguing in front of their partner. They said, okay, we got a raw deal, and it happens. Now, who leads the negotiation process? Look at legal between 2009 and 2013. Look at finance. Supply chain is beginning to play a role in there. But procurement, others, about 3 or 4 of these executives mentioned procurement. When a lawyer leads a negotiation, he's looking at things from a legal perspective. When a financial person leads a negotiation process, it's about the numbers. That is how they've been programmed. There's nothing wrong with that. They are doing their job. But where are you to look at the developmental aspects, the long-term value creation aspects? That's where procurement comes in. Where are you? In most cases right now, supply chain management, the chief supply chain officer is taking over because most of them obviously know procurement. So that title is more acceptable. Hopefully, maybe with time it will change. But at this point in time, supply chain officers are the rising stars. They negotiate for their salaries. They don't bargain. Another question which was posed was procurement responsibility for the implementation of the contract. Look, when the mess has been created, then they bring it to you to implement. But because you don't, or you are not bold enough, you accept it. And then they call you a thief. Very soon, if you are not careful and you don't rise up, you are going to be reporting to SAPS, the police. And that has its own complications, I'm afraid. Because money for coke can be a very complex issue when you meet them. In my organization, the concepts of bargaining and negotiations, you see, it's very interesting. Shareholders, obviously, up until now, have been more focused on their dividends. So they've been pushing their CEOs aggressively. Cut. Price chisel. You saw what happened in Marikana. You've seen what has been happening in the townships. And it's not unique to South Africa, by the way. It's all economics. When people are threatened, they are hungry, sometimes they do some ridiculous things. You know, when you look at the world, how it has evolved over the last 800,000 years, you could see a similar pattern. So for me, a lot of these things that are happening now is not surprising. It would taper itself off. But we have a role to play. We have a role to play, very strategic role to play. Unless we are able to address this, be part of the initial negotiation process, is going to be a challenge. Don't just accept for the sake of accepting. And the only way you can change that is through knowledge and standards, which obviously SIPS is trying to implement globally.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.